So have you kind of translated that knowledge, I guess, now to other aspects in life that gratitude can, kind of resolve a lot of these issues?
Yeah, my go-to is gratitude as a foundation for resilience, which is a bit counterintuitive. And it doesn't matter if you're in the real estate space or another profession, or if you're just wanting to get more out of life. Like, gratitude helps us frame setbacks in the grand scheme of things and realize that things just aren't as bad as we often think they are. And we all have a negativity bias within us that when we do encounter adversity or setbacks, it consumes a lot of our attention. And you think about it in life and business, though, but it feels worse proportionately to lose $100 than it does proportionally feel good to make $100.
Yeah.
Once you've got it. Like, once I was on an Air Canada flight flying to from a speaking gig, and it was one of the first flights where Air Canada had released in-flight Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I was sitting near the front of the plane, surrounded by other people that are business people in their own right. And everybody's like thrilled when the head flight attendant came out and said, "We're so excited to announce that we have our in-air Wi-Fi on this flight today. And as the first group, you're going to get to use it for free." People were like standing up in their chairs, like clapping, cheering. And I was like, cool, this is nice. And then it was like 10 or 15 minutes later, people trying to get online, where the flight attendant comes back out and she's like, "I'm sorry to let you know, but the in-flight Wi-Fi isn't working." And man, the look on everybody's face is like they had just been wronged. There was all this, "Oh, Air Canada, this," like it was like a few moments ago, you were just happy, normal people. Yeah. All of a sudden you were elevated and then you crashed to rock bottom. We weight positive and negative events differently. We all have a negativity bias within us, and we can beat it. It's within all of us. It's a bias. I think it's evolutionary. A really authentic way to beat it is with gratitude and fortify your mindset. Because if you look for the gifts, not the gaps, in any situation, you're going to attract more of that positivity. For one, you'll be more open to it. Your chemistry changes, like literally your physiology changes. You'll be a warmer person, more coachable, more approachable. So many benefits like that. But it's a huge reframe on the exact same situation that is causing you grief. You can look at it and be like, what in this situation do I have to feel thankful for? It's like the glass is half full metaphor, but you're looking at a similar set of circumstances just through a different lens, which is authentically positive and can actually change your chemistry. And if you can change your physiology, if you change your state, you can change the story you tell yourself about that situation, so you can change the strategy with which you approach the solution. It's incredibly powerful, and it's overlooked, or maybe not even looked at all, as a resilience tool, because it's counterintuitive when you're feeling low to think about all that you have to feel thankful for.
Yeah.
Because of that negativity bias, we get sucked in. Woe is me. Why me? Those types of things. So,
well, and especially I find right now, like in the past 4 or 5 years, at least business related or life related, like it's a pretty volatile time in life. Things are busy. People's businesses are struggling. The economy's like, you can just kind of go down that rabbit hole. But I guess the question is like, how do you practice gratitude? Like you said, you get up early and do some reflecting, and like, is there something that you stick to, or a piece of advice you can say, hey, this is like a good starting point. This is what people should do. Or is it just like all day, every day, like make sure you recenter yourself on gratitude?
It's a very good question. I'm so glad you brought it up, because how do you practice gratitude? How do most people practice gratitude? We might have, a round discussion at the table at dinner one night where you say, okay, kids, what are you thankful for? Some people keep gratitude journals. That's a common one. Gratitude triggers, or things that remind you in your day. That's one I actually like, because if there's something in your day that can trigger you to feel thankful, then I think that's valuable. Because if you ask most people that try journaling, it doesn't really work for gratitude journals. Like, a lot of people say, well, yeah, I kind of get some benefit out of it, because the thing that's missing is feeling grateful. if you just think about the things that you have to feel thankful for and you kind of categorize or collect this list, you might get a little bit of benefit out of it. But if you want your chemistry to change, like if you want the benefits of oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, like I said, a bit of dopamine, those are neurotransmitters that connect different synapses in your brain. You are literally changing the way that your mind thinks to look for silver linings or opportunities. Likewise, if you produce that chemistry in your body and the endorphins, it actually counteracts a stress response. You can't feel stressed and thankful at the same time. So oxytocin is like the love drug, right? You seek out connection and people like that you wouldn't necessarily if you didn't have that chemistry. Serotonin is the happiness drug or happiness hormone, and that's an incredibly powerful neurotransmitter, especially for combating depression. And so you can actually feel thankful, create that chemistry, and change the way that you look at your situation based on how you're feeling. And so for me, when I say to practice gratitude, it's a feeling. And you can feel it in the morning during reflection, if that's like just a momentary mindful break that you take, or even at night, especially if you've had a stressful day. You can actually turn every day, even your bad days, into good days if you end it with a gratitude audit. Whereas most people have a bad day for like 1 or 2 negative interactions, conversations, tough negotiation that you didn't feel like you performed as well as you would have liked to in, or maybe there's a challenge with your spouse or kids or, someone else that's outside your professional life. And we hold on to that stuff. You need to release it, and then you can shift to gratitude. One more point I should make that's really important on this, and it'll probably be the next place we take the conversation to, is how you handle negativity. Because if you don't actually deal with some of the negative thinking that you have going on, or if there is a situation in your life that is truly bad or a bad day, if you just try to suppress it with gratitude, that also isn't a strategy I would suggest. You need to release the negative or process it, because I'll ask you guys this. What would you have more benefit from? Having more positive thoughts or fewer negative ones? What would you tell me?
I don't know. Maybe negativity bias, we weight the negative ones more, so probably less negative ones.
Yeah, you're right. And maybe that's why I set up that question pretty well. Most people want to be optimistic and they're like, oh, more positive, right? But the answer truly is like fewer negative, because your negative thoughts and beliefs are the only ones that can hold you back, limit you, or keep you stuck. If you don't deal with the negativity or let emotional content process, then shifting to gratitude right away, it's like the second step in that process. And so you asked me, how do you practice gratitude? There are a number of different ways to practice it and close that loop out by feeling it. But if you don't deal with the underlying negative beliefs, whether it's about scarcity or uncertainty or self-doubt, am I capable of doing this? I'm not great at sales. I don't know if I have what it takes to achieve my goals. Like, all of that negative thinking needs to be dealt with before you can move to something positive that supports your growth.